Well, Mark, a 520-mile trek awaits us. You ready for it?
Yeah, it's a long old journey, but we'll come in tomorrow, prepare properly. We're going to train at the ground, and we leave from the ground. We've obviously got a long old journey, so we'll start a little bit earlier. Try and get down there as quickly as we can. Get the lads, give them as much rest as possible, and get them ready for Saturday. But listen, every other club in the league got to do it as well. It's likewise for Plymouth when they've got to come up north. So it's just about us being professional, doing our jobs properly, doing what we come in to do every day, what we understand ahead of us, and the lads are absolutely a pleasure to work with. So no issues or worries there whatsoever.
When you have a big game like this, especially one which is a long distance away, is it nice to have the players with you the night before a game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously what a lot of people won't understand or won't think about is, when you play in the Premier League and the Championship, and I imagine a lot of League One clubs playing away from home, you have overnight stays. A lot of Premier League clubs will have an overnight stay on a home game, without talking out to, I know quite a few do. But in League Two, finances are obviously different and the budgets are tighter, etc. So we don't travel away on every game, but clearly with the distance involved, this is one that it's one of the games we pick out at the start of the season, which will be an overnighter. But it's not a problem. The players have done it many times before, so it's nothing nobody's used to.
For numerous reasons, obviously outside our control, it's been a challenging week. How do you think the lads have been in training?
I think they've been a huge credit to themselves, first and foremost. I think they've been a huge credit to the fans and the club. All I can do is talk about what they have done next week. I can't comment or give you an opinion on what will happen next week, Bob, but we've been in every day. We've trained really well. We've put a huge amount of emphasis on our training week geared towards the game, and I can't thank the lads enough, and I can't compliment them enough on their attitude and their application and their desire. They're just a joy to work with. We see that in every game they play, Bob. Although we've not had the wins that our performances have warranted, we haven't played one game this year that we've not walked away from and thought we should have at least got a draw from that. You see that in the desire and the application of players week in, week out. So what's happened this week is new to me, but in terms of the response that I thought I'd get from the players was unquestionable, and that's what they've delivered. And again, I got to say a huge thank you to them, and I got to say a huge thank you to the fans, because of what the fans do for us week in, week out, the players see that, and they're the people that they want to give back to, and that's been evident in how we've trained and applied ourselves this week.
You mentioned what the fans do in terms of the team. Just tell us, what do they do?
It's just little things, Bob. Like, we go to Newport away on a Tuesday night, which is a long old trip. We didn't have 5,000 people there, but we've had a group of people that have turned up and supported us and have brought kids with them, and they're getting home at silly o'clock in the morning, they've got work the next day, kids are in school, etc, etc. And that doesn't go unnoticed. We see it at home games. We see this year that the club have had 3 managers in this year, but the support is unwavering from the fans. I've never heard any bickering, any moaning. I just hear unconditional love and support, and the players recognise that. I know tomorrow there's a coach going down to Plymouth tomorrow that will be travelling down the day before the game, like us, having an overnight stay and supporting the lads. That's a lot of money to a fan, and we recognise that, and we understand that, and we've discussed that. And I want the fans to understand that we know how difficult it is. We know the cost and the expenses to go through, and also people get misguided in football because lads are footballers. They're on thousands and thousands of pounds a week. Good luck to the guys who are. We don't have that facility here. The lads are on, we all know what our budget is in the play. We don't have players on thousands and thousands of pounds. So they recognise how difficult it is. They recognise through their own lives and workings how difficult it is and how expensive it is. And so that's a little something we're conscious of and something we discuss within the club. The one thing I love about the club, it's a real close-knit community, and that means players, fans, people like yourself doing 2 and 3 jobs at a time. We've had these conversations a million times. We're all aware and recognise how we work together as a community.
In terms of the actual training itself, is there anything you've worked on this week? I know last week when we spoke after the Salford game, you were saying for once you've actually got a free week, which is doesn't happen too often at this level, does it?
No, it doesn't. And when I look back at the Salford game, I thought the things we worked on came out in the game. It might be hard for some people to understand, or people that weren't there, because you see a 2-0 result. First goal was obviously a bit of a fluke. Good luck to Salford on that. If you don't shoot, you don't score. But taking the second goal out of the game was a poor game. You know, the minimum we should have got from the game was a draw. If we'd have won the game, I don't think Salford would have argued. Likewise, I'm not standing here arguing that we've been defeated. It was a really, really tight game. But the guys applied themselves, and I thought some of the football was very good, particularly in the first half. And they can feel really hard done by they're on the wrong end of a result. But in terms of what we did that week and in terms of what we did this week, although we haven't played a game yet, I couldn't be happier with the application of the guys, the attitude, but also with the outcomes of what we had from our training sessions, and we'll continue that again tomorrow before we travel.
Plymouth, obviously, they didn't have a free week. They played Grimsby on Tuesday night, and instead of that, they got a confidence boosting 3-0 victory. They're going to be one hell of a proposition on Saturday, aren't they?
Yeah, I think if I'm being honest, Bob, when I look at all the teams we played, we've obviously played, other than Leyton Orient and Morecambe, we've had everybody in the top half of the table, if not up near the top of the league. Plymouth have probably been, I wouldn't like to single them out, but they've been arguably one of the, well, they've definitely been one of the standout teams we've played. Obviously, they've had a game midweek, which is, you know, we've had more of a rest, but it was at home, so they've not travelled. But you know, they're a team that's flying high, and they'll be high and I was super impressed with them here, very, very good, particularly in the second half against us. So we know what we're up against, we know how they're going to play, we know the strengths and weaknesses, so we're good to go, we're ready.
As you've alluded to, it was only a matter of weeks ago, wasn't it, that Plymouth made the journey up here. Does that match, in terms of your preparation, have a little bearing on it? Bear in mind it was such a short space of time ago we played them, and for many reasons, you know, you could look back on that and say we could easily have claimed all 3 points, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think by the end of that game, Bob, I think Plymouth will say they deserved the draw, and I wouldn't argue that. My counter to that was, I thought by half time, and I haven't said this very often, too many times, but I don't think Ryan would have argued that if we would have went in 2 or 3-0 up, but we didn't take our chances, and they defended well, and the keeper pulled off a couple of good saves, so you have to give them credit for that. I don't think the fact we played each other 2 weeks ago makes much of a difference. Styles are styles. Everybody knows how I want to play. I know how they want to play. So before you go into any game, you know, if you do your due diligence and you're only good at what you do, you'll have a very clinical idea of what the opposition are going to do against you. So I think ourselves and them will both be prepared in that regard.
Wish you the best of luck, Matt.
Thank you, Bob.